Hello, and welcome to Aftershock Online. This week, we've got an incredible episode in store for you. I'm so thankful to have Mr. Howie Fields with us today. Howie's got an incredible background. Let's talk about a little bit of it. He comes from the sales world for over 20 years. He was on Wall Street, actually worked for a pretty well-known Wall Street company called Stratton Oakmont, which we'll share more on. Got in the fitness business, been in the fitness business for over 20 years. He's owned gyms. He's a personal trainer for some of the most well-known bodybuilders out there. And today we're going to talk about his new business, Claire's Goodness, which is the best almond butter that I've ever had in my life. So we got a bunch of fun stuff, but welcome, Howie.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So I know we got a chance to meet, real briefly, and it was just like talking to an old friend the first time we met. You've got an incredible background. Let's start with the sales. I mean, tell me a little bit about working on Wall Street and how was that?
Wall Street was actually the foundation for all my sales, right? Mm-hmm. I think naturally I had a sales ability as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I went to Syracuse University, and my best friend at school, his best friend growing up in high school already worked at Stratton Oakmont. Mm-hmm. And when I was looking for a job in New York City, my good friend Rodney said to his friend Chuck, hey, Howie would be a great stockbroker. He's good on the phone, just likes talking to people, and in New York, if you can BS and have a good time, they call that talent. Mm-hmm. Right. And so gave me the opportunity. I walked into the firm like they have in the movie. There's a whole bunch of guys in a room.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, or boiler room, if you will. Uh-huh. Right. You go into a room, there's a bunch of guys there talking to you. I did that and got the job, and that really became the soil, the seed in the soil of the training ground to really become a master salesman.
Wow. So, I mean, what were some of the key things that you picked up there, learning from arguably some of the best that's ever been in that business?
Yeah, well, I think what's really important is we used to have meetings morning, noon, and night. So we'd have a 7 a.m. meeting, a 1 o'clock meeting, an evening meeting, and things are just repetition, right? Mm-hmm. Things were put into as a training ground. We had things we learned, and we were taught each and every day, mm-hmm. just like you would in a sport or going to a gym. It's repetition. It's the practice of it. Mm-hmm. And once you have that foundation, you then become a master at whatever you're doing.
Right.
So that was a big key. It was just fundamentals. Yeah. A lot of fundamentals.
And you're right. That's what it is in any business, right?
Yeah.
To be great at it. It's doing it many, many times well.
Yeah, that's it.
And so did you leave Wall Street to go into fitness, or what was like the next transition there?
What it is, I worked there, then we started our own firm.
Okay.
Me and my other buddies. So that was the training ground, then started our own firm. Did that for, another 5-6 years. Mm. And then what ended up happening was my really good friend, his name is Rob Moore, got traded to the Arizona Cardinals from the New York Jets. And every kid that lives in New York eventually wants to come out to the fun and the sun. And I went out to LA and visiting Scottsdale and Arizona, flew back home to a snowstorm, and said, you know what? I'm coming out west. That's how that's how I got here. And then once here, I needed something to do, and gyms were always my passion. Mm-hmm. Fitness was always a passion of mine. And what I used to do when I was on Wall Street was when my other boys would go to Vegas or Miami, I'd go see one of the high-end trainers just to learn from them, spend some time with them, see what they're doing, because you only have one body.
Right.
And you might as well maximize it to the best of your potential. And so I would learn from them because I always wanted to be fit as I got older. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you're in great shape today. And did you ever compete yourself? Or?
Oh, yeah. I was a national level bodybuilder. I used to walk around literally 100 pounds heavier.
Wow.
I'd walk around 250 and, or I should say 80, 90 pounds heavier, 250. Right now I'm walking around about 185 to 175 to 185.
Yeah, I've always admired the discipline of a bodybuilder because it is really a minute-by-minute thing when you're going into a training. Tell me, like a month out from a show, I mean, how was your diet? And then Tell me about your cheat meal after. What was your special?
What's fascinating is, if you need to lose 100 pounds or 10 pounds, it's the same process. It's just time, right? That's the only difference. Same foods, same commitment. But in bodybuilding, when you really get ready for a show, that's a whole different ballgame, right? So it depends on the type of it. For myself, I'm mostly on a keto type diet, right? So you get energy from two sources, right? You get energy from fat, you get energy from carbs. And on a keto diet, we're getting energy from fat because we eat minimal carbs, right? So it's protein and fats. And so I would, for my clients and myself, I have a couple of things that allow me to be a little more successful. And I would make a fat fudge with cacao and coconut oil, right? Which makes you feel a little happy.
Yeah, totally.
I mean? And so, doing this for years, I've developed certain strategies and secrets that allow me to have my sanity as we go from, let's say, eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a month out to coming down to really eating 2,000 calories because really mitigating hunger, right? So it's just a structure. You take something out, you take something out, you take something out, right? And so that's how what ends up happening when you take away more calories, your body then has to use the fat that's stored on your body. Even though you're in shape, there's still fat to give up, right?
Right.
So now you're mitigating hunger. You're still training and exercising. So the last month is a challenge, but the last week's what we call Hell Week, which is peak week. So you go from, again, 4,000 calories to maybe 1,500. You're drinking 3 gallons of water a day. It's all an illusion to look a certain way on the day of the show.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand. It's not what we look like every day.
Of course.
We might look good, but we don't look like that every day. And it's just it's hard to really explain to someone because words can't put into description the art that's created once it's done, once you're at peak week. Now, what most people don't realize is everyone has the ability to be their best version of themselves, mentally, physically, well-being, the whole thing. We just have to understand how to make it happen and how to get it done.
Absolutely. So, did you take that into your training of other people then? Did it help you being in bodybuilding, help you,
Oh, without a doubt.
in the coaching side?
Without a doubt. A lot of times you always want to understand what that person's going through. Right? If you were to say to someone, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, yeah, you'll be fine. You have to have those hunger pains. You have to have that, what the hell's happening? They're in the headlights and be in their shoes so you can hold their hand and walk them through and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Just stay focused. Trust the process. It's going to happen. It's much easier to tell someone and do as I say do once you've done it many, many, many times versus not having an understanding of what this person is really going to go through.
Awesome. So going into the training side of it, tell me about how is it training a top level athlete like that? I mean, what is the strategy there? Do they always listen? What's your favorite part about it?
Well, training a top level athlete, they really do listen.
Yeah.
It's easier to train a high level athlete than to train a beginner. And because beginners and people who, let's say, want to lose body fat or something along those lines, they felt they've tried everything, right? So their fears and doubts arise all the time. And psychologically, they start talking themselves out of what they need to get done because they're so used to failure, they continue to fail. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Whereas an elite athlete, they want to be the best, right? And when you have their best interest at heart, when you've already established a relationship, you will get their best all the time. If you want to correct something in the gym, hey, do this, boom, that's done. If you want them to, hey, we're going to change this in the nutrition plan. All right, is it going to allow me to be better, make me win? Yes, they're on it.
So because they have that hunger to win, they're easily coachable opposed to somebody that maybe has failed a ton in their life and doesn't want to trust necessarily because they failed already before.
Yeah, well, it's a simple thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many high-level athletes have coaches?
All of them.
What was that? What'd you say?
All of them.
Right. How many entry-level people have coaches?
Very few.
Very few to none.
Right.
So when you give them the advice that they need, that's going to allow them to be successful, since they've never had a coach, who do they depend on? Their own knowledge. They don't know what they don't know that they don't know. So they're going to listen to their own counsel, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But that counsel has just gotten you what you've got now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you continue to listen to that counsel, you continue to get what you already have. So that's the distinct difference. When someone that's already started elevating who they are and what they've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
they're open to listen.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. One of the books I'm listening to right now is called Relentless by Tim Grover. And he coached Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. And, I mean, he just was relentless about their pursuit of perfection. And I love it because it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So just to share with you what I write
Yeah.
every day when I get up in the morning, relentless. Excellence is relentless,
Mm-hmm.
right? It takes no days off.
Absolutely.
That's it. And the relentless pursuit of greatness. And this is something, it's all internal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that internal drive. You know, when you're the jury of what you want to get done, I always say one thing, you have to improve 1% each day, maybe 2%.
Mm-hmm.
If I can be better today than I was yesterday, and I continue to ascend along those lines, everything's going to work out.
Awesome. Do you have any goal-setting regimens that help you along those lines to keep you focused?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really. So what it is I like to say I'm part of the 5 a.m. club.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you my phone. I woke up at 4. I really woke up at 4:15, but that's for the puppy reasons. But I usually get up at 5 a.m. And but I was up at 4:45. And what I normally do is I have a power hour every morning,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is as soon as I wake up, I hit the ground running. I go to the gym. I steam, stretch, do my morning cardio. I usually listen to a podcast during that. As I'm working my body, I want to be feeding my mind with something uplifting and positive, right? And then I really go through my journal.
Mm-hmm.
I really, what's my best intention for the day? What's my clear intention? One of the things I write down.
Mm-hmm.
What's my elevated emotion? Top 3 things I have to accomplish. Where was I uncomfortable yesterday? A to-do list, and then I really journal as in a conversation with myself. I do this each and every day in the morning and every night.
Wow. Elevated emotion. Can you expand on that?
Well, so thoughts become things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so everything, how you think, how you act, how you feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Human beings are driven by emotions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you think, act, and feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the feeling is what really drives the action.
Right.
So an elevated emotion is what is going to be the predominant thing that's going to carry you through the day, right? So by elevated emotion, if I want more abundance in my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I want to have things in my life, I need to have more gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So attitude and gratitude, the issues and the tissues, these are the things I say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have gratitude for good and the bad, I'm always going to be okay. I say thank you, whatever it is. So I do not allow myself to be affected by something on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's my internal clock, my internal being that absorbs everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just say, all right, it's going to be okay. Because no matter what, some people, they stub their toe when they walk to the bathroom first thing in the morning. The rest of their day is ruined.
Yeah.
They go to Starbucks, they have to wait a little longer. The rest of their day is ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Just something just happened in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to carry it with me the rest of the day. Yeah. So elevated emotion is always being grateful and thankful. Knowing what you want to have, and you can manifest whatever comes to them in the world. So everything is going to be a blessing for me during the course of the day.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And obviously, because you've lived your life like that, I mean, you've had some amazing successes. Let's talk about the next one. My favorite, well, like I said, my favorite almond butter I've ever had in my life was Claire's Goodness.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the story. I mean, how did you guys come up with that? How did you get into such a competitive business and really come up with a superior product?
Well, I really want to say it's simple and easy.
Yeah.
Right. So my beautiful better half, Claire, she, lovely girl, but always, sickly, goes to the doctor quite a bit. Naturopath, so she's very holistic driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to. One day she went to the doctor and said she could eat almond butter, which was a staple in her diet, right? And then they said, well, if you can eat almond butter, if it's sprouted. So I went to the grocery store. I went to Whole Foods, bought a sprouted almond butter for her. When I got to the counter, and it was an 8-ounce jar, they said it was $26. And when they had to wake me up with the smelling sauce, because I paid $26 for almond butter, I was like, what is this, And Claire, being the type of young lady that she is, she decided she didn't really like the almond butter. And she just, Googled a couple things. She decided to, hey, let me see if I can make it myself. And literally that's what she did. She went out and got some almonds, put it together. And before you know it, she was making a product. But then many, many weeks later, she's like, I'm thinking about really trying to make some almond butter. Like, what do you mean? She goes, I want to see how I can really make the best almond butter possible. So she started calling a couple almond butter farms, right? And she got some, and she didn't really get much headway. So she literally was telling my good buddy and partner in another business about, where can she get almonds from? And he goes, ask Howie. He calls people on the phone all day. That's what he does. So literally, I then called 10 or 12 almond farms. All the almonds got shipped. So she had different types of almonds to choose from. We picked the almond that she liked, created this product. She came to me, gave me a taste. She goes, babe, what do you think of this? I go, that's a business.
Yeah.
That's simple. I go, that is a business. Because almond butter as a whole is just almond butter. It's almond butter. But when you taste Claire's Goodness almond butter, it's a wow moment.
Well, so you mentioned keto, right? So
Yeah.
I also do keto. It's getting me incredible results. And I started about the time that I met you. So you gave me the almond butter, and I tried it that night, and I'm like, this just solved my dessert problem.
Yeah.
I literally would take a spoonful of that, and it satisfied any sugar craving I had.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any sugar in it, but
sugar, right.
My goodness,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. We felt in the marketplace, there's not really an almond butter that is superior to anything else, right? We're sprouted, we're raw, we're organic. So we check off all those boxes that we want to make it a premium product, right? But then the taste is really what drives it to a whole other level. You have all the health reasons. Health benefits of eating almond butter are, it's fantastic for heart disease, right? For lowering body fat, for your cholesterol. There's so many positive things that almond butter is beneficial for, that on top of that, it tastes great.
Yeah.
It is a win-win-win. And it takes the taste factor to a whole other level. I'm surprised you were only able to eat 1 spoon at a time. Because it's through the roof.
I didn't. In fact, I think I texted you that night. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. I had, I think, 3 that night. And Jess is like, my wife, she said, are you going to finish that off tonight? I said, no, I'm going to show some discipline.
That's right. I'm going to hold it down.
Tomorrow morning.
Right, that's right. You're lucky I brought you a jar.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, let's show everyone.
Yeah,
Looks like this will be a household name right here, and I'm super excited for tonight's dessert.
Oh, absolutely, brother. It's really the best almond butter on the planet. I mean that. I give it to my boy Breon, Mr. Olympia. He used it before the show as part of his carb up and fat load process. Yeah. Right before the show, he pours it on. And this morning, sent me a text message at 4:35. Hey, brother, I'm out of Claire's Goodness. I need you to send me some. you couldn't have sent that message at 8.
Yeah.
You know, but he was on his way to do his cardio, and he knows I'm up.
Right.
That is, yeah, so we'll get him some. It just, here's the scenario. We just got in a couple grocery stores in New York City, and, you know, we're scaling online. That is our direct-to-consumer model, is first online. And we're now moving it into, you know, hopefully we'll be in Sprouts coming up, and we get Sprouts, which will be great in the, you know, Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Then, you know, LA and San Diego. I kind of want to get a little corridor here, a little area in New York where I can bring our two markets I spend a lot of time in.
Right.
And I really can have a footprint. And anyone can find on clairesgoodness.com. You know, they can, if they listen, when they listen to your fantastic podcasts.
Yeah, for sure.
And they want to know where it is, they can go right there and just get a purchase.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely go online. It's well worth it. Speaking of online, you know, you guys do some great things with social media. I follow you on Instagram, Facebook. I pay a lot of attention to the Instagram. Who runs that for you? I mean, you guys do a really nice job. How have you positioned yourself?
Well, we do it ourselves.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm connected to a marketing agency with my boys, but we have a strategy of how we post, how we implement what we do, and the pictures, how it looks, how we interact with our audience. These are, again, it's practice, right? I can't stress enough the fundamentals of what you would do to lose body fat, to lose weight, to be good at anything you do in life. It's the same thing. So this is the game plan of what you need to get done. And then we just execute. Do it day after day, week after week, month after month, and you will be a success.
No, I believe that 100%. Another book, Darren Hardy wrote The Compound Effect several years ago, and it's great. I mean, he really kind of reiterates that to where, yeah, you're not going to see the results tomorrow, but if you do little things every single day, it adds up.
Yeah, I always say, you know, it's not what you do once in a while.
Right.
Right. It's the small, simple daily improvements over time lead to massive, massive, massive results. Right.
Absolutely. It compounds and it changes everything
right.
over time.
It changes you.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is that human beings want instant gratification. Right. You know, and when I owned, you know, the gym business, people would come in. I'm so sick or tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of going to the gym. And, well, when's the longest you've stuck with a program? 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You know, it didn't take you 2 weeks to look the way you do now. It was years in the making. And the really beautiful thing of it is you can turn years away in the making. You can reverse all that in a short period of time. A buddy of mine on Instagram, Possible Pat, is his handle. He used to weigh 650 pounds.
Wow.
Right. He came to me right here at a restaurant on Scottsdale Road. Wanted to lose weight. And had an introduction to him from a friend of ours. We all of a sudden, Pat went from 650 down to, walks around 287 now. Right, he's been on the Ellen Show, Good Morning America, the whole thing, and he's now a bodybuilder.
Wow, incredible.
Right, so anything is possible. You can have anything you want in this world as long as you take on the responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Right, and one of the things I always say, be patient and be persistent, and you'll have it all.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you obviously have this mentality, but are there any favorite books? You mentioned podcasts that help you or have given you this foundation.
Well, yeah, books. I would think it all starts for me, from being, you know, an athlete when I was in college. You know, you have certain disciplines there, right?
Yep.
And, you know, my strength coach in college was a guy named Mike Wojcik at Syracuse, who then became the Dallas Cowboys strength coach and then the New England Patriots strength coach. So he was there for all the Super Bowl winning years. And he was the first guy that ever kicked me out of a gym when I was 17 years old. This is not a place to play in. This is business.
Yeah.
And so from there, it really started to understand you got to be serious about a few things. That's why fitness has had a really big impact.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as one of my favorite books is a book called 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, which is, to me, as amazing as it gets. One of my favorite books. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is another fantastic book. I read that every year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a new guy named Robin Sharma.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He has a book called A Leader with No Title.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that is impactful and a powerful book. I can't stress enough again about, Think and Grow Rich with our boy, because that is such a subtle and excellent book. It's timeless.
It is.
Going back to fundamentals. A new book I just got yesterday is called Connected to Goodness.
Connected to Goodness?
By David Meltzer. He's written some other books.
Okay.
And he's a fantastic gentleman. I had an opportunity to spend some time with him. Author and, you remember Lee Steinberg, the great, right? He ran Lee Steinberg's agency.
Okay.
He was the CEO of that company. So,
wow.
Heavyweight lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Spent some quality time with him yesterday, and hope to have him. One of the things I do have now in my life are mentors.
Mm-hmm.
People I want to spend time with, and my big thing I want in life is to have impact and influence on people.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I've been able to do that, through the years in fitness. So when you read a lot, when I listen to Robin Sharma's mastery sessions online. Brian Rose has London Real, right? He has a lot of really cool people. Tom Bilyeu has Impact Theory, right? So these are podcasts that tend to move me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I love listening to Jim Rohn, you know. And here's the thing, for anyone out there, there's this new thing called the intranet, right? And on the internet, I don't care when the person lived. I literally listened to one of my favorite authors, a guy named Neville Goddard. He's was a new thought leader from 1928. I can go to YouTube, right, and listen to his speeches that he gave. He's written several books, and I'm listening to a speech from 1944. It's on YouTube.
Wow.
You can read something from Albert, or see something from Albert Einstein, anything. It's all recorded. It's all out there.
Right.
So here's one of the things I like to recommend to people. The most important investment you're ever going to have in your life is not your home. Okay? The most important investment you're ever going to have is the investment in yourself. All right? And mentally, physically, spiritually, all these things are available. And one of the things I do know now is we have a habit of being, you're jealous of someone you see, right? But people who are never jealous of is someone who's lived in history, right? I don't care what type of family you come from, because we all come from dysfunctional families.
Yeah.
Right? But we can be the son or daughter of any great in history. It's cataloged and written in a book. Mm-hmm. You can go pick up a book and find something out about someone in history and literally emulate and mimic certain things that they've done in life, because fundamentals don't change. Right? Basics don't change. My grandmother used to say, there's nothing new under the sun. Meaning humanity hasn't changed. I just recently read a book by Seneca, right? Seneca the Younger, way back in Roman days. This is BC time. I'm literally reading this book, and they're talking about guys going to the gym too much, right? Talking about hair replacement, right? And I'm like, I'm literally on a plane thinking to myself, I want to share this with somebody. Yeah. I'm reading something written in BC time that you would think is 2018. Why? Human beings haven't changed.
Yeah, they deal with the same struggles.
Same struggles,
Same fears.
Same fears, yes. It's humanity.
Right.
It is humanity. And I think the really important thing, technology has allowed us to evolve, right? But the same basic human emotion hasn't changed. That's why I talked to you earlier about elevated emotion.
Yeah.
If for your world to change, the world's never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
The world's always going to be what it is.
Right.
But for your world to change and my world to change, first I have to change.
Mm-hmm.
When I change, my world changes. When I believe something new better about me, I will believe something new better about the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how you view it.
Right.
How you view you. The concept you hold of yourself is what is the really biggest impact you're ever going to have in the world.
Right. No, I love all that. We normally wrap up with the 3 takeaways. Can you boil those down into some 3 takeaways we can put out there for everyone?
Okay. I literally have a manifesto of certain things, what you have to get done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my number one thing is you have to believe in yourself first. I always say, like yesterday at my conference, when I spoke, I said, I want everyone to say, I believe in me,
mm-hmm.
right? The number one thing you have to understand, you're trustworthy to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honor yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you are in life, right, and takeaway 1, wherever you are in life, you're perfect as you are. Right now, today, in that moment, in this moment. Number 2, if you got to get from here to there, right, act as if, or I like to say, you got to be that me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have my athletes who are getting in shape, and we set out to say it's a 12-week program,
mm-hmm.
right, to get ready, you have to be the person you want to be at the end of the 12-week program. You have to start being that person today, right? So if you start being that person today, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Act as if. What would that person eat?
Mm-hmm.
What would that person train? What would that person do in 12 weeks? Start doing it today. And by sure as I stand here, you will be that person in 12 weeks, right?
Right.
So takeaway number 1, you got to be that me now. Whoever you want to be in the world, you got to start behaving like that person now, right? Takeaway 1. 2, we have mental pictures every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's we run films
mm-hmm.
in our own mind, little movies, right? So you can edit, right, any movie you want to play in your own mind. So edit the movie that you want to see. Instead of it being negative and you failing, start rehearsing positive things, right? You can edit and do anything. You can revise the movie you're playing in your own head,
mm-hmm.
right? And then as you act and revise and when you visualize good things happening, they start to happen,
Right.
right? And the number 1 most important thing I will give you as a takeaway in modern day time, this lovely thing we have here.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah.
But this is the beginning of WMDs, weapons of mass distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The reason why most people are not successful or most people don't get things done, they're too distracted.
Right.
And I started to say this to you earlier. Instead of people, I don't care if you're on the left or you're the right, no president is going to change your life.
Right.
You have to be the one to change your life. You have to raise yourself and do whatever it takes to be productive. If you can spend 3 hours watching TV and the news, ain't nothing but the blues on the news, period.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
If you can spend 3 hours watching TV at night, that's spending 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Take those 3 hours, invest in yourself. Read a good book. Go to the gym. Do whatever it is. An investment, spend is 2 ways. Invest is what? To a profit.
Right.
So what's the ROI, return on investment, of investing in yourself, doing something constructive and positive for 3 hours that you're watching TV?
Mm-hmm.
Weapons of mass distraction. So weapons of mass distraction are the phone. We have triggers. You know, the people who create these things do things like boom, boom, boom. It's like literally, it's like holding a slot machine
Right.
in your hand.
Yeah.
So as soon as the phone rings, you might be focused, totally focused on doing something. That's a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So the number 1 thing I'd really recommend to anyone, last thing, is total bubble of total focus, what I call gym time. Guard your mind time. I'm a gym guy. So guard your mind time. So doing 60, 75, and 90-minute intervals where you're just focused solely on one thing without any distractions. Put your phone on silent, do not disturb. And you do that in any area of your life, you're going to start being successful because you're focused.
I love that. And it's so true. It's so true. Well, this was fantastic, man. I appreciate you being on today.
Yeah,
before we leave, yeah, you bet. Before we leave the audience, do you have any any asks of the audience other than obviously go check out Claire's goodness.
Yeah. What they can do? Follow me on social media, Howie Fields.
Howie Fields.
Right. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a podcast too. It's called How We Hustle.
Okay.
Right, but it's How We Hustle. So I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
And follow me if you have any questions for me. Feel free on IG, Facebook, any of the things. But here's something I would ask each and every one of you who are listening out there. What is the one thing you really want to do? What is the one thing you might have been afraid to do? Or there's no wasted people on the planet, right? Everyone has a gift and value inside of them. And if there's something you've always wanted to do, I don't care if you're 12 listening to this, 40, 55, you have something, an idea that only you can bring forth. Whatever that idea is, start acting on it. Believe it can get done. There's no wasted people on the planet. There's someone here. Everyone has a gift inside of them that they can bring forth that only they can share. Understand that they're amazing. Understanding that you're once in a lifetime work of art. And bring it to fruition because the world needs you.
Agreed. I love that. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you got a ton out of this. I know I can't wait to rewatch it so I can get all the nuggets out of it. But we'll see you in a couple weeks.